Добрый день, дамы и господа, присаживайтесь поудобнее. Сегодня будем продолжать прохождение ПК игры «Стоит пугаться» на ПК. Всем с прошедшими праздниками и всего наилучшего. И мы начинаем. Чат сейчас, ребят, 2 секунды обновлю. И все. И мы пойдем. Еще раз минутку, прошу прощения, ребят. На Трова мы вместе с... Доброе, ребята, все, кто подошел. Через 2 минуты начнем. Так, пытаемся ответить. Ничего не вышло. Ладно, с ничем мы потом разберемся. Добро, ребят. Поехали. Продолжаем играть. Так. Сюда. На вечеринку Афродиты мы... Слушайте.
Grace, back again so soon.
Yeah, I just came from a chat with Medusa, and
You went to see Medusa.
I know what you're thinking, but it was fine. Okay, it almost wasn't fine, but it worked out. Nobody got hurt.
I see. Perhaps you'd best tell me what happened then. That sounds like quite the harrowing experience. One that could have gone very poorly indeed.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were worried about me.
Well, yes. I mean, you're not invulnerable, Grace. Neither was Calliope.
I do appreciate the sentiment.
If you've cleared Medusa's involvement, that still leaves us with Pan.
That's a good point.
Anything else you'd like to discuss while you're here?
I'd like to know a little more about you. All I know is you live in a dump, you have an oracle, and you...
I'm not sure what to tell you. One day has bled into the next for so long, I feel like I've been lost in the spaces in between.
Wow, that's a bit dramatic.
Yeah, well, it comes naturally. Music and the arts were once under my purview as a god.
how did that get decided? Did you have a big hat full of pieces of paper and you all picked at random?
No, we chose them for ourselves. Some, at least. Others were given to us by our priests. We collected godly responsibilities like marbles.
People collect marbles?
Oh, or whatever it is mortals collect these days. Cars, perhaps? The point is, we took our godly duties very seriously.
Tell me more about Calliope.
Calliope
You and her were good friends, right?
For centuries, we were far more. I was the god of the arts, and the muses were my constant companions. We went everywhere together. They had many names, but the three most common were Clio, Talia, and Calliope. The sisters of beauty, I called them, though they weren't always women.
I never thought of that. Do idols change gender a lot?
Most of us seek out inheritors who are like us, I suppose, but not all. Calliope, in fact, was a man in her previous incarnation. Christoph, I think his name was. A poet Calliope adored. I was surprised when she made him a muse.
Who did Calliope become after that poet, Christoph?
You have to realize we're already into the period where Calliope and I weren't really speaking. She showed up one day in her new form, the one you met. An opera singer whose name she never revealed. We fought, as I recall. I told her she couldn't pass on every time she met an artist she fell in love with. Eventually she'd forget everything about who we were and where we came from. She said she'd rather forget than wallow in old memories like I or the other idols were doing. It was time to wake up and make the best of our situation. Calliope was an idealist without compromise. Always. She hated what we'd become. What I'd become. She wasn't wrong.
You must have been very different back when you were a proper god.
I think most of us were. We saw ourselves as, I don't know, teachers. Mortals were our students, and we guided them to enlightenment. We thought we were special, infallible. I was as magnificent as the sun, and I surrounded myself with those who basked in my radiance.
That doesn't sound like you.
Yeah. I was arrogant. If there was a man or woman I desired, then I had to have them, or there would be consequences. You wouldn't have liked me. I wouldn't have liked me.
Да, ну ты сказал. А порасспрашиваем опять, насколько часто вы с Калиопой ссорились, может, это даст наводку на кто стал
From how you
убийцей.
describe it, you and Calliope fought a lot.
As often as we saw each other, which became less and less as time wore on. However, she fought with everyone. Calliope hated the idols being kept secret. She and Athena would get into screaming matches over the rules, and it got so I could no longer protect her. She moved out of Olympus years ago and kept to herself. I just assumed she was wrapped up with some new artist when I got the news.
Do you regret not making up with her?
Every day I think about our last conversation and what I should have said or done differently. The problem with immortality is that you think you have all the time in the world.
It wasn't only fighting with Calliope, right? Surely there were good things too.
Is that how it sounds? No. She was marvelous. A force to be reckoned with if there ever was one. In the darkest days during the war, it was her songs that gave us hope. She kept Aphrodite alive through sheer determination, I think. Calliope cared. About us, about art, about people she'd only just met. It was her greatest strength as well as her greatest weakness.
I wonder why she picked me. I don't feel like I'm any of those things.
You underestimate yourself, Grace. I see a lot of her in you. She chose well.
So what is Persephone's beef with you exactly? Is it just about what Hades did to her?
That's no small thing.
It seems more personal than that.
I mentioned how Persephone's kidnapping almost meant war between Olympus and Hades, yes? Well, while this was all going on, Persephone managed to escape the underworld, and I'm the one she encountered first.
Uh-oh.
Hades was hot on her heels, and I had a choice. Either do battle with Hades and start the war right then and there, or let him take her back. Zeus would have had my head if I had sparked a war. Yet all I still think of are Persephone's eyes as Hades smugly took back his prisoner. It's not my finest moment.
И кошка между вами пробежала. Ну, узнаем, пробовали они хотя бы как-то мириться.
Apollo, have you ever tried, I don't know, talking to someone about how you feel?
I will never understand this modern fascination with therapy and focusing on one's feelings.
It might help. You never know.
Yes, I've tried it. There was one I used to speak to. Hecate enchanted him never to reveal what I told him. I don't know that unburdening myself to the man helped. He wasn't exactly trained for this sort of problem.
It is kind of hard to relate to a god, sure.
I do appreciate the thought. But I'm afraid muddling through is as good as it gets for us.
Байбел, расспросим его, что он может дать, может это поможет найти убийцу Калайпи.
I'd like to know a little more about the idols. I am one now, right?
You are. What would you like to know?
Well, what are we? Where did we come from? If an idol is a soul that moves from person to person, it must have started somewhere, right?
The short answer is, we don't know. If I think far enough back, I can remember bits and pieces. I remember my first Pythian games, the day the idols split in two over Troy, the day my first son died. But before that, nothing. None of us do. I vaguely recall the very first Apollo many thousands of years ago, but was he the original? Did he appear out of the ether? I couldn't tell you.
Ну, почему он может не вспомнить, как не знать об этом? Ну, точнее.
Isn't it strange to not know where you come from? For all you know, the idols could be aliens.
Interesting. The notion that there might be some other place far away where we're the norm is comforting. Sadly, our memories are filled with blanks. There was a war with beings we called the Titans. A terrible conflict where half our number died, yet do I remember a single battle. The last was after Rome fell. Zeus called us together to relay the news, told us to prepare for battle. And then, in the blink of an eye, I was in the 16th century. What made us forget 1,000 years? What happened during that time? We don't know. Athena calls that period the gap.
Об этом феномене сейчас уточним. Нас это интересует.
The gap you mentioned. What was that like? Did you just wake up one day, or...?
I know I was alive. I passed on my eidolon who knows how many times, yet the moment I woke up, as you call it. All memory of that period was gone. It was Athena who found us. I was in France, I think. She came to my farm, and the moment I laid eyes on her, I just knew. It all came back. Did someone do that to us? Did we scatter to the winds for 1,000 years on purpose? It's a mystery.
What about Athena? I mean, she's the one who found you, right? She must have been aware.
Athena claims she awoke on her own and spent the next century locating the other idols. We've pieced together very little of the gap or of our origins. We simply live with it. Gods we may be, but I'm afraid we don't have all the answers.
Интересная трактовка. А что у него за сын мог быть?
Earlier you mentioned your son dying. Did I hear that right? Can idols have children?
It was rare, but yes. Back in ancient times, some of them even became idols themselves.
Some of the idols are actually family then.
Not anymore. Most of our children met terrible ends. A gift of the fates, perhaps. I don't know.
Добрый, ребят.
The ones who weren't idols. It's hard. Watching your children grow old and die. Never understanding why they can't have the same immortality you do. Why you can't grant it to them. My first son is why I'm not permitted in Hades any longer. Let's simply say that most idols have stopped having children, and maybe leave it at that.
That's all I can think of for now. I'll see you around.
Of course. I look forward to it.
С Фрей поговорим. И потом на вечеринку Афродиты.
Hey, hey, so what's the news, Miss Muse?
Miss Muse.
Well, does a muse have a proper form of address? I just want to hear what exciting adventures you've been having. Everything else okay, though? Do we know who the killer is yet?
Not just yet, no.
Okay, well, let me know if there's anything I can do. If I have to hustle to become your high priestess, well, so be it.
Уточним, как наши кореши, что они там делают.
What are Kaz and Brian up to? You didn't tell them anything, did you?
No, I told them you came home, that you're okay, but that you're having a moment. They send their love.
Should we tell them, do you think?
What for? They have their own problems. Plus, Brian can't keep a secret to save his life, and Kaz is officially homeless.
Is he still crashing on Brian's couch?
Grace, you do know that Brian doesn't have a couch, right? Just some giant beanbag things?
Then where is Kaz Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cute. They'll tell us when they're ready. But right now, it's best just to not mix them up in this.
Спасать парней надо.
I should really apologize about the band. This kind of puts a dent in your plans, doesn't it?
You're right, Grace. How dare you sabotage my dreams? I am so mad I could spit.
You know what I mean. Nobody could have seen this coming, sure, but it's always been something with me.
Well, as I see it, there are two ways this goes down. One, neither of us gets back to the band. It was just a thing we did for a while before I founded a cult in your name. Or two, we get back to it and the band now has the Muse as its lead singer. Edge of Elysium becomes the coolest and most appropriate band name ever.
Ugh, I still really hate that name.
Look, Grace, you can't be the source of all the drama and name the band, okay? That's the rule.
Интересно. Ладно, и мнение, как могли айдолы остаться в секрете.
You know what I find weird? That the idols have managed to remain completely secret all these years. Sure, they have magic and whatnot, but in all this time, nobody's found them out? Athena is that good?
Who says nobody has found them out? The way I see it, it's like UFOs.
Okay, I have to hear this.
Okay, so you could have real evidence that UFOs exist and that governments have covered it up and people still wouldn't believe it. Why? Because they'd get laughed at if they admitted it. Imagine the headline. Greek gods exist and are living among us. What website would even run that?
Weird conspiracy ones. Yeah, you're right.
Да уж, ничего толкового мы не выяснили.
Exactly how much do you know about the Greek gods, Freddie?
I know my Greek mythology, but what I've read clearly doesn't line up with who they are today. Or who they ever were, maybe.
Still might be useful. There's gotta be some truth to those stories, right?
Maybe? Who do you want to hear about?
Так. Ну, давайте об Аполлоне спросим.
What about Apollo?
Okay, so the prophecy stuff checks out. Apollo was god of the sun and light, but also kind of enlightenment in general. He's always talked about as this beautiful and cultured god involved with the arts and the muses, kind of a Renaissance man before the Renaissance.
He's clearly had a rough time since those days.
Well, he was also a giant horn dog, Grace. I can list off like a dozen men and women Apollo has had as lovers, and there's probably more.
Weren't they all like that, though?
I mean, Apollo's no Zeus. He never assaulted anyone as a swan. And no, they aren't all like that. Our sun god had a reputation.
Tell me what you know about Persephone.
Honestly, she's the least like her stories. Usually, she's either a victim or just the wife of Hades, or both.
And that's it? She was kidnapped by Hades, end of story?
Pretty much. Her mother was so angry she created winter. But otherwise, Persephone was just your average sweet and virginal fertility goddess.
You're right, that doesn't sound like her at all.
Must be hard to be defined by this one thing that happened to you thousands of years ago. I'd be pissed if everyone thought my story ended there.
Well, she is pretty pissed. That much is true. You said Pan was some kind of lust god, right?
Yeah, kind of. Pan's a god of the wild, and I guess that translates into sort of lustfulness and earthiness, humping nymphs in the forest sort of thing.
And you don't like him.
Honestly, he's exactly what I'd expect him to be. All the stories say he's a lech and a beast. The Christians equated him with the devil. Weirdly, he's also the only god who's supposed to have died, though it's never really clear how or why. Anyhow, there's a great statue depicting Pan having sex with a goat. Next time you see him, you gotta ask him about it.
Да уж.
Do you know anything about the Muses? Or Calliope in particular?
Yeah, for starters, there were supposed to be 9, though I guess there are some sources that said there were only 4, maybe 3. Each of the muses had her specialty. Did you know that Calliope is supposed to be the muse of epic poetry? She inspired the Odyssey.
Wow, I don't even like poetry.
Yeah, it was said her singing voice was unmatched. So they got that part right, at least.
Did she also lead the ancient Greeks in giant choreographed dance numbers?
No, but she once turned a bunch of snobby princesses into magpies, so there's that.
What about Athena? Is she really supposed to be the goddess of wisdom?
Sure, but mostly that's meant as tactical knowledge. Athena wasn't all sweetness and light. She was a warrior goddess. She was also the goddess of heroes. There are loads of stories where Athena helps guys like Odysseus or Jason or Perseus.
No female heroes back in those days?
Yeah, I guess not. Women were the weaker sex, which maybe is why Athena was portrayed as being vindictive. She cursed Medusa, one of her own priestesses. She turned people into spiders, struck them blind, started the Trojan War. It's the whole thing.
Not being as wise as advertised is on brand for her, then. Just how many of these gods are there? From what I've heard, lots of idols live around here.
Well, there are tons of minor gods in Greek mythology, hundreds even, depending on how you define them. Oddly, there's never any mention of the word idols in relation to them. Maybe it's like how people worshipped idols?
I sort of assumed it was related to the eidolon.
Which is a Greek word, but I think it means ghost. An image of someone after they die.
Makes sense.
Me? I'm more amazed at all the big names missing. Not just Zeus and Hades, most of the Olympians seem to be gone. Makes you think about what's been lost, but also what might still be out there.
You think there might be other gods out there?
Well, there are all those gods the idols say wandered off. We don't know they're dead for sure, right? They could be living it up in Australia. Who would know? Then there are all the other mythologies, hundreds of cultures, each with their own pantheon. So what's so special about the Greeks? That only their gods are real, right? And all those other pantheons could be living in secrecy, just like the idols. And that means they're hidden from each other, too. Oh, they could be everywhere and no one would know.
It's like a whole other secret side to the world.
Yeah, it's cool, right? I hope I get to meet Ganesha one day. Or maybe Lakshmi?
I wonder how much of those stories are true.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm giving you the quick version. There are reams of textbooks out there covering all this, but even they rarely agree with each other.
Really? Nothing definitive?
Ancient Greece was 3,000 years ago, Grace. Not much information survived all that time, if it was even valid to begin with.
Okay, that's enough questions for now.
You sure? I can talk all day. You know I can.
I'll check back with you soon, Freddy. Time for more mystery solving.
Да, ничего толком не узнали, но мнение... Да, ладно, на вечеринку Афродиты поперли. Будет интересно узнать, что там. Можно будет интересно увидеть и узнать.
Fancy party? Check. Bunch of strangers? Check. Grace totally not dressed for the occasion? Check. Now, if only I knew what I was supposed to be doing here.
Grace, you made it. I'm so glad. I was beginning to wonder.
You didn't say this was a fancy party. I feel a little underdressed.
Grace, look at me. I didn't even button up my shirt. It's fine.
Why is everyone so quiet? You'd think someone died.
I should have told you about this earlier. I've been putting it off.
Попробуем спасти Афину. Поромансим. Тем традиционным ценностям героини будем вести, тем более.
You're cute when you're all angsty. You get this little crinkle on your forehead.
You might not think I'm so cute after I explain. You don't have any of Calliope's memories, right? No déjà vu, recollections that aren't your own?
No. Should I have?
Not right away. For a while, you won't remember anything. We call it the veil. In time, the veil will start to lift, slowly at first, but eventually you'll remember almost everything Calliope did.
That doesn't seem so terrible. Am I missing something?
Well, remember how old we all are. There are so many memories, so the veil lifts gradually to protect you. Eventually, it's like a flood. It becomes difficult to separate what's you and what's them, and all who came before them.
You're saying I won't be me. I won't be Grace. Will I start calling myself Calliope?
Maybe. Eventually, most of us do, but most of us were chosen and prepared.
And I didn't choose this.
I understand. Take some time to let it sink in. If you like, we can talk about it later.
What does this have to do with the party?
Aphrodite hasn't been the same since we came to the New World. She has horrific memories of what she endured during the war. Passing on her eidolon is a way to forget, for a while. That's what this party is for.
When you say she's gonna pass on her eidolon, you mean...
She's going to die, yes, and pass her soul on to a chosen successor.
in front of everyone?
We're here to help, Grace. To make it easier for Aphrodite to do what she feels she must. we're here to say goodbye. At least for a while.
This isn't the first time Aphrodite's done this. She's held this kind of gathering before, right?
This is her fourth, I think, perhaps fifth.
So every time the veil, whatever you call it, when it starts to lift...
Aphrodite's memories return, and eventually it is too much. We gather to pay our respects and to honor the past.
Да, уж
Well, she still remembers it.
просто как-то у них все. Даже вот интересно, предыдущие музы одобряли это или нет.
Wait. Calliope refused to come to these parties. That's what you said.
She refused on principle. Everything Calliope did was on principle. She believed Aphrodite was indulging her sadness, wallowing in it. She thought Aphrodite should try harder. It was a point of contention between them. Aphrodite will be grateful you're here. Trust me.
Да уж, блин, дикие нравы этих айдолов, этих богов древнегреческих. Ну, уточним, все ли были едины в этом или нет.
Do you support what Aphrodite is doing here?
It's not my choice to make, Grace.
Yeah, but you must have an opinion.
Eventually you will remember what we experienced during the war. And eventually you will remember that what Aphrodite experienced was far worse. If this is the mercy she requires, I will not tell her she should not take it.
Ладно, мы скажем то, что мы понимаем все это.
Okay, so what did Aphrodite want Calliope to do? What did she want me to do?
Well, knowing Aphrodite, she'll want you to make a production of it all. She's not here just yet. Until she arrives, I suggest mingling.
Mingling.
Yeah, mingling. Talk to Eros. Or we can talk more if you like. Just try to relax, Grace.
Sure, yeah. Relax. That's what this party is for, right?
Ну, поговорим с Эросом, а потом с Аполлоном подбодрим Купидона этого.
Grace!
Hey, Eros. Nice to... Oh. Okay.
Aphrodite will be so happy you're here. It means so much you have no idea.
Are you okay? You seem a bit...
Every time she does this, I don't know how to handle it. I almost want to run upstairs and demand she stop. Remind her that this never works. Sorry, I shouldn't unload on you. It's been a bad week.
Hey, I understand. This can't be easy.
She's the one who is suffering. I shouldn't be complaining. I just hate this. I'm there every day, going through it all with her. The nightmares, the panic attacks, the weeks when she just won't get out of bed. I'm there when she forgets the war's over, and I hold her until the screaming stops. Me. I do that.
That sounds awful.
And now I'm arranging her gathering again, so she can die again. And I'll watch it all again.
Is it okay if I ask what happened? I don't mean to pry, but I'm new. I really don't know.
No, it's okay. I wouldn't usually talk about it, but I know you don't mean any harm. What happened is that brother Ares happened. He missed out on the first world-spanning war, you see, so he was damned if he'd miss out on the next one. He found some jack-booted mortals, so full of themselves and their supremacy, and he told them about the idols. Then they came for us. Took us completely by surprise. Some they killed, but Aphrodite, her they captured.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Aphrodite was captured, but she's here now. So she must have escaped.
She didn't. Do you know the name Hephaestus?
No. Should I?
God of smiths. He could make anything, any tool or weapon. He was Aphrodite's husband, and he adored her. When he found out the mortals were torturing her, he went mad. He was determined to save her.
Wait, they tortured her?
Nothing extreme, I'm told. They were too frightened, but they were also determined to wring every last secret out of her. So, who knows how long that fear would have lasted. Thus, Hephaestus made a deal.
With the, jackbooted guys.
No, with their enemies. That's what saved her.
Любопытствуем, что это за тема.
Then this deal is how Aphrodite survived.
It's how we all survived. It's what brought us to the new world. Hephaestus saved us all. We never saw him again. That was the deal. He would leave, make their precious weapons, and never look back. Aphrodite never even got to say goodbye. It's funny, because Aphrodite didn't even like Hephaestus when they were married. She seemed to resent every minute they were together. But now he's all she can think about.
Is there no other way? Does Aphrodite really need to...
To die? I've asked that so many times. She's tried magic, drugs, psychotherapy, meditation, everything we could possibly think of. For a while, she'll deny anything's wrong. It all seems fine, and I start to hope. Maybe this time will be different. Then the nightmares begin, and the memories return. More with each passing day until... I hate it, but I see her agony. I can't deny her this.
Maybe I just don't understand, but... Isn't this... like, suicide?
Some of the idols have committed suicide. They let themselves die without passing on their eidolon.
What happens?
What you'd expect. They're gone. Forever. Mother says she can't do that. She won't. Not until she sees Hephaestus again, I suspect. Not that what's happening here is anything casual. She still has to die. For a while.
What is my part in all of this? I'll help if I can.
Aphrodite loves drama. She always has. She wants us here to... well, to remember. To celebrate our history. She'll ask you to use your power as part of the celebration. Could you use it to inspire her?
I can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to, Eros.
That's not what I'm asking. I believe that, deep down, she doesn't want to do this any longer. She must see it isn't working. She just needs the strength to try. Or I hope that's all she needs.
Бедный сын Афродиты. Обещаем, что приложим все усилия.
I'll try, if you think it'll do some good.
I don't know if it will. I just find it hard to believe it could get any worse.
Famous last words.
Tell me about it. Do whatever you think is right, Grace. And thank you.
Поговорим еще раз.
I know all these people, Grace. For as long as I can remember, I've known them. Yet sometimes I feel like I don't know any of them at all. Or they me?
I spoke to Eros. He's pretty broken up over all this.
Oh, poor Eros. Each new successor, his hopes rise up once more. And then he watches the new Aphrodite crumble, piece by piece, only to start all over again. It's so different from the olden days. Once he was the eternal disaster, and Aphrodite kept constant vigil over him.
Maybe he feels like he owes her.
I think he's followed her into a dark void, and somewhere, deep down, believes he deserves no better.
You don't enjoy these family gatherings, do you?
Are they family gatherings? Like the sort mortals have?
You call each other sister and brother and mother.
Well, yes, but...
And you've been together like 100 times longer than I lived with my family. All you're missing is a drunk uncle everyone has to apologize for.
That would be Pan. But yes, I feel very much out of place.
You look like you're in physical pain just being here.
Oh, enjoying my discomfort, are you?
Of course, it humanizes you. Makes up for all the abs on display.
Well, so glad you approve.
I should get back out there.
My family. Having you all here, gathered once again to see me off, it moves me. More than I can say. My loves, my darlings, my dearest friends. And you. Oh, my dear sweet thing. I dare not hope that you, with all your troubles, might sing me to my sleep. Yet here you are. Yet here she is. Huh.
Тут лучше не ответим.
It's lovely to meet you, Aphrodite. Properly, this time.
Ah, yes. Poor Calliope. Such a loss to us all. I shall miss her dearly. To have come so far, only... No, it doesn't bear thinking about. It's too much.
Is this Grace, my lady? The new muse?
Oh! What manners I have! Grace, Grace! Meet the lovely mortal woman who shall tonight become the new me.
Hi, my name's Venus, and yes, it really is Venus. Nice to meet you, Grace.
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you.
We'll both be new at this, huh? Maybe we could get together and compare notes if you,
Survived my trial.
Yeah. Lady Aphrodite told me. I shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
There will be so much time for you lovelies to speak later. Now, we must prepare for my departure.
I just want to say, I'm really sorry that this happened to you, that you need to do this.
A babe in our dreary world, and yet already possessed of such earnest purpose.
Weren't you opposed to this, Grace?
Apollo! Oh, you've come after all!
You look remarkably well, cousin.
I've had a great deal of time to prepare. I assure you that would not be the case. As for you, Grace, have you gathered the true purpose of tonight's gathering?
To ease your suffering? To forget about what happened?
An escape into the soothing blackness. To swim in Lethean waters, at least for a time.
Does it help?
I don't know. Each Aphrodite before me begged for mercy. This is all I can do for all of us. Even so, tonight is not about the pain. It is about honoring the memory of what was while that memory still persists. Go, enjoy the gathering, Grace. Tell me when you're ready to begin.
С Венерой поговорим.
I want to apologize again, Grace. I really messed up. It looks like I'll be doing that a lot. Lady Aphrodite said I'm ready, but I don't know.
Having second thoughts? If so, now's probably the time to mention it.
I would never do that to Lady Aphrodite. I'm just nervous.
That's understandable.
If I can ask, what does it feel like after it happens? Do you feel different?
I was so scared at the time, I didn't know what to think. I had no idea who Calliope really was.
You didn't remember anything? About her? Who she was? She was just gone?
Yeah. Isn't that the point of all this?
I just wanted to be sure. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be real.
How do you know Aphrodite exactly?
So I was working at this homeless shelter, right? A couple of years ago, and she came in with one of the older residents. And she was there in this, like, amazing dress. And she's sitting with this guy and really listening to him. Like, they were old friends or something. I just thought, what is someone like her doing in a place like this? So, I just went over and introduced myself.
That's it? Just like that.
Yeah. She came back to the shelter a few times, but by then, I guess she'd taken an interest in me instead.
Спросим, устраивает ли это и все.
Are you really okay with all this? You know what's gonna happen, right?
I saw a lot of people in crisis at the shelter. I knew something was wrong with Lady Aphrodite. She's in so much pain, Grace. She won't let you see how much. Eros called me one night desperate. She wouldn't stop screaming. She didn't know where she was. She's a good person, Grace. A good soul. She deserves mercy.
Your name's really Venus, huh?
Everybody asks me that. Even the other idols. Maybe that's why Lady Aphrodite noticed me in the first place. She says it was fated to be. I say it's because my mama was a diehard hippie.
But don't you feel this is wrong? I mean, you're ending your life. It's like some kind of murder-suicide pact.
I don't think of it like that. Lady Aphrodite is not committing suicide, and I'm not being murdered.
Aren't you? Your life is ending. It's being taken over, swallowed up by Aphrodite's grief.
I'm becoming part of something bigger. Something amazing. Or maybe you're right. It'll be terrible, and I'll end up in so much pain I'll regret it.
So why go through with it?
Because Lady Aphrodite needs me. Maybe, just maybe, if I'm added into the mix of all the people she's been, maybe things will be different.
Back again.
I don't think I'll have a chance to talk to Aphrodite. Not before, you know.
I was hoping she might have spared a moment.
What should I do?
You have two choices, Grace. Either you do as she asks and sing her to her rest,
At which point Venus won't have Aphrodite's memories yet.
or you somehow convince her to remain with us and hope she's grateful.
And doesn't regret it. Or get angry at me for ruining her party.
Do what you feel is right. It's a risk either way.
Have you spoken with Venus? She seems really...
Nice, earnest, a genuinely good person.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's not an accident. Ever since the war, Aphrodite has sought out the kindest, the most innocent souls to be her successors. She chooses them because she believes that over time, it might make her a better person. A more worthy person.
Wouldn't it be better if she chose people who were, I don't know, more resilient?
I suppose that depends on your definition of strength, Grace.
I should get back out there.
Всех с прошедшими праздниками, всего наилучшего. Женщина не готова.
I have tried so hard, fought for so long, but in the end, I must bid you all farewell once again. But before I go, I would like us all to remember the sacrifices that brought us here, to this strange new world. This time, it is with the help of our lovely muse that we shall be guided. We let them rise. We let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. Since the beginning we were hidden. We held court from up above. 'Twas the golden age of reason, and I the queen of love. But a plague of hate was spreading, and there were vultures standing by. Before we fell to our knees begging, we fell from the sky. We let them rise, we let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. Our so-called brother Ares sold his soul forevermore. He so loved the military, he became their dog of war. He denounced his loving family, and with mortal guns and greed, on a plate gladly delivered everything that war dogs need. He betrayed us and we let him, with their mortal souls long gone. We thought we were untouchable. We were wrong. We were wrong. I can feel we have the vigor of an idol coming in. Be wary as they find you to entail your limb from them. Torture you and spit at you, parade you in a square. I thought my life was over. Then a God answered my prayer. The man that I ignored saved me when I fell. Yes, the husband I abhorred rescued me from hell. I thought it was a joke when it was said to me. He struck a deal with our enemy's enemy, made a secret weapon so my captors let me go. He gave up his freedom, leaving just a memory, and this love I'll never know is what he gave to me.
I gotta say that I'm amazed I held my tongue for so long. Not such a fan of this old plan, but who's to say that you're wrong? Now should've gotta erase a memory when there's no chance of changing history. This guy that sacrificed his life
life so you can live in its space. Wish he'd drop by, cause man, I'd die to see the look on his face. You try to hide from your reality, but then come back with regularity. And if you notice a disparity, then what's the meaning of his legacy? Everybody. Who gives a damn about your suffering? Everybody. Who wants to see you be yourself again? Everybody. Who feels your pain in case you're wondering? Everybody. You got the time, but it's the stuttering. Everybody wants to see you fall in love.
I can't place your face, so let me give you a hand. An idol should embrace the things they don't understand. And you don't get it. My mind's a falling city, buildings crumbling down. What is more the pity? All I hear is the sound. Bombs blanketing the ground. A screaming so profound. And you want to play around. Well, you offend. Everybody is insulted by your acrimony. Everybody wants to wallow in my testimony. Everybody. So who is ready for the ceremony? Everybody. I'll be siding with the everybody. Everybody wants to see you fall in love.
I never thought you'd let it get this way. I stood by watching what we've built decay. We're just pretending that the ending is near. Mother, isn't it clear? Your family's here. Everybody can see the agony you're going through. Everybody knows the goddess is inside of you. Everybody keeps repeating what they're meant to do. Everybody, I've got to stop it just to prove to you. Everybody wants to see you fall in love.
Everybody, who's gonna help me overcome the war? Everybody, who's gonna be there when I'm on the floor? Everybody, who's gonna cry when I walk out the door? Everybody, cause I'm not gonna do this anymore. Everybody wants to see you, wants to see you fall in love again.
Шикарная музыка, и мы изменили что-то судьбу. Это всегда
Mother,
приятно.
is it true? You've chosen to.
Live. I have chosen to live. I'm so sorry, Venus. I made you so many promises, dearest, and I won't be able to keep them.
My lady, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy. If this is your wish, I'll be with you at every step.
I as well. Always.
I hope none of us regret this choice in the days to come. But thank you.
This is the only way you'll get through it. Together, as a family.
If there's any chance, Mother, any at all, this is it.
I know, my loves. I hope you're right. Now then, Grace. Apollo tells me you needed my help. No doubt regarding Calliope's death. Have you any suspicions as to who might be responsible?
Нельзя ответить. Ну,
Calliope was at the reliquary when she was attacked, but I only know of 3 people who were there.
And you're sure none of them are responsible, Grace?
I thought maybe Medusa, but I've spoken to her and I think it's someone else.
Calliope came to see us that night. She was agitated, frightened even, but she wouldn't explain why.
She said she had a plan. It must have been the reliquary.
A plan? A plan for what? What could she find at the reliquary that would help her?
Maybe she wanted a weapon. Something to defend herself with.
If only we'd known she intended to go to the reliquary. How on earth does she even get in?
She used the key, the one Pan gave her. When Calliope arrived, she dropped it. Then she laughed and said she'd better not lose it because Pan won't give me another key to the reliquary. I didn't know it was important.
Well, there's your help, Grace. I can't give you any better.
Come now, Mother. It's time you rested. It's been a long night.
If I don't, I suppose you'll both gang up on me again. Very well.
So, did they have anything helpful?
I gave him every opportunity to tell me. He said he didn't know what happened to Calliope.
Just because he gave her the key doesn't necessarily make that a lie.
Doesn't it? I thought you suspected him. What side are you on?
Your side, Grace. Always your side. Are you all right, Grace? You seem troubled.
Что ж ответить тут-то? Ну, наверное.
I'm worried. I don't feel like I'm any closer to the truth.
Aren't you? Even after learning about Pan?
I can't help feeling I'm on the wrong track somehow. Maybe it's just nerves.
You really are amazing, you know that? Every hurdle, every piece of unpleasant news, you just keep on going. I don't know how you do it.
It kind of helps that I don't have a choice.
I just wish I could see the world through your eyes. Next to you, I feel very old.
Старый-то нифига подобное.
How about you come with me sometime? Let me show you the world I see.
A tempting offer.
Sounds kind of corny, huh?
It really doesn't. I would love that. Can we go now?
Hey, I'm game if you are.
Take my hand for a minute. Let your hair down for a second. There's so much to like if you open your eyes. If you try to search for the light, you might be surprised. No, it's not hard to find. The courage you need to be joyful is something you build over time. No matter what I do, the answer's in you. That I will be here for the ride. Yes, I will be here for the ride.
I'll take your hand for a minute, though it's more than I feel I deserve. It could grow on me, this world that you see, yet I've been alive for too long. 1,000 years of learning about what could go wrong. I'm tired of being wrong.
Apollo, I'm sure you've had it rough. 1,000 years of life is hard, but easier with someone like me to lean on. The courage you need to be joyful
I appreciate the
is something
campaign.
I'll come help you find.
If I ever let her There's something we build over time. No matter what I do, the answer's in you. I will be here for the ride. Yes, I will be here for the ride.
Лучше с Аполлоном идти пообщаться, может, что-то еще толковое получу. Добрый день, вечер, господа. Всех с прошедшим Рождеством.
Hello
с
again.
праздниками.
I can't remember the last time I had guests so frequently. I did tell you we could discuss your memories and the Eidolon more in depth after the party. Did you have any questions, or?
Всем хорошего вечера. Присаживайтесь, ребят, поудобней. Так, спрашиваю, может, что-то толковое будет от Аполло?
How many times have you died? Can I ask that?
Well, we call it passing on, meeting the Eidolon, and it's fine. I've passed on 12 times that I can recall.
So your name isn't really Apollo.
Most recently it was Lucas. Everyone Lucas ever knew is gone, however, so these days I prefer Apollo again.
Lucas? Seems weird to think of you as a Lucas.
It was weird for him, too. Much like yourself, Lucas becoming Apollo was somewhat of a surprise.
Sounds like there's a story there. Tell me about this Lucas. How did he become you? Or is it how you became Apollo?
Apollo had taken to surfing. He left the city without permission and roamed the coast looking for... Well, I'm not sure now. Whatever it was, he found it one night when a giant wave took him down. He was drowning, and I thought, this is finally it. But it wasn't. Lucas saw Apollo struggling and swam out to save him. He pulled us ashore, but it was too late. It took a long time to realize what happened. I didn't return to the city until years later. By then, everyone thought I was Apollo's chosen successor.
So no trial for you, huh?
It wasn't easy at first, without memories or anyone to guide me, but no, nothing like that.
When all these memories start to return, will I feel different?
Well, let's see. It starts as dreams you'll have of places you've never been, people you've never met, fleeting images, feelings. Then they'll appear while you're awake. You'll be eating breakfast and suddenly recall when you last ate something similar in the 17th century. The only difficult part is that eventually it can be hard to differentiate between your life and all those other lives. They blend together.
It does sound confusing.
A little, yeah. And not all the memories will be good ones. It can take time to process.
You said it becomes hard to differentiate your life from the others. How hard, exactly? It'll still be me, right?
Grace, would you say that who you are is at least in part due to your experiences?
I guess so, sure.
Well, you'll have a lot more experiences. They won't feel like someone else's either. It will feel like you did all those things. They will shape who you are now, just as they shaped Calliope and all those who came before her. The good news is, you won't get all the memories. Each time we pass on, the older memories fade.
Wait, how is it good that old memories start to fade?
We're many thousands of years old, Grace. If all of those memories returned with perfect clarity, you'd drown in them.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean you've all forgotten so much?
Tell me, how much do you remember from when you were a small child?
Bits and pieces, I guess. Not much.
It's the same for us. The further I try to think back, the more blurry it becomes. I remember the important bits, but little else. Some of the really old memories. There's so many mortal stories that get mixed up with them, things my previous selves learned as legends. It becomes hard to tell. It takes time, Grace. You'll remember all the lives you've led, but at a pace you can handle, and nothing more.
Wait, what would have happened if Lucas hadn't tried to rescue you? What if no one was there when you...
When I died, then the Eidolon of Apollo's line would have ended forever, I think.
You think?
There have been stories about Eidolons that survive for a time and go wandering. That's probably all they are, though. Stories. It's not something we've had much opportunity to study, but normally death without passing on is how an idol really dies. Forever.
It's a lot to consider. Assuming I'll even have time to worry about it, what with the trial coming.
Hopefully this eases whatever concerns you might have had. Anything else you'd like to discuss while you're here?
Tell me more about the war. It seems to have had a huge effect on all of you.
I don't think we would have left the old world otherwise. It was home.
From Aphrodite's song, I know Ares betrayed everyone. What did you do?
I caused it. I foresaw what was going to happen, so I tried to prevent it. I told Ares. I figured if the god of war couldn't stop what was to come, then...
And that's why he betrayed everyone.
He decided the idols were a lost cause. Because I told him we were.
Surely it could have happened anyhow. It was a big war. The biggest.
Perhaps. We'll never know, will we? My time afterwards was spent helping the survivors, keeping us on the move. If Hephaestus hadn't intervened, we would have all been captured.
And he's...
Oh, gone now, we assume, like so many others. We are nothing more than refugees from a war long over, Grace.
Was it hard for the idols to come to the new world? It's just a place like any other, isn't it?
I don't think it was the place so much as the condition we were in. Shell-shocked, one might say. Our entire world had been turned upside down. Suddenly, we had rules. Secrecy was paramount, and no one was permitted to leave the city. Some, like my sister Artemis, couldn't abide it.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Goddess of the hunt. And a wild thing herself. She left, I think. Faded away without a word. As many did in the early days here. Later, Athena became even more strict. For our own good, of course, but it hasn't been easy. This city has never felt like home, so much as a temporary shelter.
What happened to the other muses? You mentioned 2 others. Were they lost in the war?
Cleo perished centuries before. The victim of an obsessed writer she'd spurned. He kept her in a cage as his personal muse.
Ugh, that's pretty dark.
It was. By the time we found her, she was already... Well, it's enough to say her captor didn't survive her for long. Talia, however, was lost to us on the very last day of the war. We were about to leave on the ship, but she just never showed up.
Do you know what happened to her?
We never found out. I worried for years, even hired people to look, but as far as I can tell, she up and vanished into smoke that day. The war had ground her down. I was upset, but not surprised.
That's all I can think of for now. I'll see you around?
Of course. I look forward to it.
Да, тяжело им пришлось всем. Ну, что поделать? Идем дальше. Детективное. Надо мероприятие тоже провести, чтобы узнать, кто ж виновен.
Oh, hi, Grace. I can just call you Grace, right?
That's my name. Where's Freddie?
She went out to get snacks. We were gonna watch TV while we waited, but, well, here you are.
Waited. Were you looking for me?
All over, yeah. Athena sent me to find you, but it wasn't easy. Yeah, you must have been busy.
Yeah, because I stand trial soon.
Right. Right, that makes sense. Anyway, I guess Athena wants to talk? I can zip us over to Olympus anytime, if you're free.
Do I have a choice about seeing Athena? I'm not in the habit of being at anyone's beck and call.
I mean, I guess you could say no, but I wouldn't. If Athena wants something, she's gonna get it eventually. She had that look in her eyes, like she really wants to talk to you.
She could always come here. Everyone else does.
Athena entered the mortal world? And now she doesn't do that ever. Can you imagine?
How does Athena manage never entering the mortal world?
She doesn't have to, I guess. Everyone brings her everything she needs. And that creepy owl of hers? Apollo says it's her eyes out in the world. It's everywhere. Watching.
So what, she just never leaves the building?
She'll go to the reliquary and places like that. Just never where mortals are. She wears a toga and calls cars iron horses.
So this is what you do? Ferry people around?
I'm the god of messengers, baby. Travelers, doorways, any kind of transition, really. The old Hermes said that the transition part made even more sense for me, which, you know, extra cool, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I can connect any two doorways anywhere, just like that. So it's super easy to take people wherever. I don't mind.
You mentioned the old Hermes a lot. You knew him?
Yeah, I was homeless for a while. It wasn't a great time, and he took me in. Everyone's on the same journey, he used to say. Only the roads are different. And then he went on his journey. Man, I still miss him every day.
Wait, isn't he still inside you? Aren't you kind of the same person now?
Not yet. It's only been a year. Maybe I'll feel him again one day. That'd be nice.
You say it's easy, but do you like doing all these errands?
Huh. Yeah, I never thought about it. It's nice to have a purpose. Athena is super sweet, and she has a big, important job. Why wouldn't I want to help her out?
You can't be this nice. Are you for real?
Oh, well, the old Hermes used to say that a willingness to serve is more important than a willingness to be served.
I suppose there's no point in putting it off. Do your thing. Take me to Olympus.
Okay. Oh, when you see Freddie, tell her I'm sorry I couldn't stick around for the movie. And mind if I say something?
Sure.
You've changed. I mean, from the person I met when I first came here. When, you know, you got it together really quick.
Собралась быстро.
Thanks, I guess.
Ну, проясни, чего терять. Так. В прошлый раз вне эфира выбирал умную черту. Так, будем Эту панк-рок черту брать, ну, тут непонятно, что ж лучше по классической стезе пойти, ну, тогда в царстве Аида нам, скажем так, не получить то, что нужно. И придется уничтожать этот. Ладно. Эту черту возьму. Более безрассудно.
There you are, Grace. Do have a seat.
I prefer to stand, thanks.
As you like. You've certainly been busy, haven't you? Everywhere I turn, there you are. Including the reliquary.
Oh.
I'm uncertain how you got access, but even you must have realized it's off limits. Particularly for your mortal friend.
Am I not supposed to be proving my innocence? Would you prefer I did nothing?
I'd prefer you didn't break any other rules in the meantime.
Such as? Do you have a list I can read, or do you just make them up as you go?
You think our judgment was rash? It was. In truth, I worried that giving you time, letting us all get to know you, would make it harder in the end. I am sorry, Grace. You may not believe it, but I care deeply. I care about what happens to you and to all the idols.
Do you really? Let's explore where all that caring has gotten them, shall we? You're holding on with a grip so tight, your knuckles are turning white. But that's not enough, is it? Every idol I've met is either lost or broken, or both. They're all slipping through your fingers. If you actually cared about them, you'd do something about it instead of sitting up here worrying about your precious rules.
Zeus was the first to leave. King of the gods. And we don't even know what became of him. Vanished into the ether. Poseidon was next. Walked out into the seas, never to be heard from again. Ares betrayed us. Hephaestus saved us. Hades was murdered. And by one of our own. The list goes on.
All of that sounds terrible, but I don't understand what...
We are dying, Grace. I don't mean diminishing or drifting apart. I mean our immortality is disappearing. Very soon now, the idols will be no more. We are a legacy that spans millennia, dating back to the very dawn of humankind. So yes, I care. I will do anything and everything in my power to avoid that fate, even if it appears unfair.
You feel responsible, don't you? For everything.
I am responsible. Aphrodite wallows in her pain, Apollo in his regrets, and Persephone in her bitterness. Every other idol of power is gone.
So there's only you. You have to shoulder the burden for everyone, like it or not. I'm sorry, Athena. I had no idea.
They won't thank me for it. I know we've put a great deal on your shoulders, Grace. I do. All I called you here to ask is that you please not make my job more difficult than it already is. If you have any other questions or concerns, now's the time to bring them up.
Who has access to the reliquary? Is it anyone with a key, or...
Does it matter? You gained access, so clearly it is not difficult to get. Speaking of which, I don't suppose you'll tell me who gave you that key.
Gave it to me. Athena, I had that key all along.
You what?
It's just like you thought. I used it to attack Calliope that night. Then I brought her back home to finish her off. A mortal with a plan, baby. Stole my way into godhood. Watch me roar.
That's not funny, Grace.
What's funny is that you thought I'd tell you without getting anything in return. Speaking of the reliquary, you went there, right? Once Hecate told you what happened?
Yeah, I was not impressed by the delay.
If you had known about that, the night Calliope died, would it have made a difference?
The chances are exceedingly small that you attacked her there, it's true. Yet, Calliope was weakened, which made her more vulnerable prey for an enterprising mortal. One she knew. Perhaps the incidents are connected, perhaps not. I cannot afford the risk of uncertainty, Grace. I'm sorry.
What do you know of Pan?
Pan? That's not a name I expected to hear. Been sniffing around you, has he?
I have some suspicions, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Pan lurks at the edges because he likes it there, seeking out whatever profit he thinks he can get away with. Avoid him, dear, or he'll stick to you like gum to the bottom of your shoe.
Okay, so you don't like Pan much. I get that. But do you think he could kill someone?
We've all killed, my dear. I was once a warrior queen, feared by mortals and gods alike.
Another idol, I mean.
Is that where your investigation has led you? To Pan?
I don't know. Maybe.
I've never thought of Pan as one who would deliberately provoke my ire. But if he saw enough profit in it... Thank you, Grace. I'll add them to my list.
I guess I'll get back to my investigation.
I am rooting for you, Grace. If there's another way to resolve this, any way at all, I will take it.
Will you? Really?
Good luck. Feel free to take a cookie on your way out.
Вопрос. К тому же пути придем.
Well, I can't say I'm surprised. Athena has always struggled in a crisis.
Well, that's a nice way of putting it.
Remember, she was a warrior. When pressed, she's always turned to that aspect, sought to maintain absolute control. It'd be hypocritical to say it's wrong of her. She's battled for me as much as for anyone.
Do you think she's telling the truth? About the idols dying out?
Yes, though I find it odd she chose to tell you.
Maybe Athena thought, who'd believe Grace if she blabbed about it anyway?
Sadly, while I'd prefer to stay in her good graces, I doubt that will be possible.
Uh-oh. What now?
You may not like this, but you need to go back to the reliquary.
Even though Athena specifically warned me not to? That'll go over well.
Here's the thing. We don't know why Calliope went there, but it must have been important.
Okay, I'll bite. How would I find that out? You think she left clues?
Remember how I told you it'd be years before you got Calliope's memories back? Well, that's true, but not entirely.
Okay.
Those memories are inside you. You go somewhere important to Calliope or touch something special to her, you will get flashes, feelings.
Do you want Grace to go to the reliquary so she can have deja vu?
Whatever happened to Calliope there, it ended her life. All we need to do is uncover those memories.
Неплохой ход, Шерлок. Попробуем.
Last time Freddy and I were there, Hecate wouldn't let us into the reliquary. Not without Athena's permission.
Okay. Do you want to ask Athena for permission?
It just seems like a radical step. for you.
A week ago, I would have said that breaking into the reliquary couldn't be done. A week ago, I couldn't have imagined being here. My stance on a lot of things has changed. If you have another idea, however, I'm happy to go along with it.
What about the alarms? I'm not eager to have Asterion chasing me through the fog.
Calliope snuck in without setting off any alarms. At least at first.
Well, I'll be following in Calliope's footsteps, won't I? What if I follow the wrong footstep and set them off?
Then the alarms bring Asterion and Hecate, and all three of us do a great deal of apologizing.
Let's just hope that's all those alarms do.
Are you sure about this? You want me to wander around hoping something comes to me?
Am I sure? No. No, I'm not.
Oh, that's comforting.
What if Medusa is lying? What about Pan? We could look into him some more, couldn't we?
Oh, well, do you have a way we could look into those things without encountering even more lies?
Deja vu it is.
Let's say I do this. What am I hoping to find?
Some memory of what happened to Calliope, even a flash. Anything that gives us something to work with.
And if that doesn't happen?
Make it happen, Grace. As if your life depends on it.
I can really see why the idols call you the cheery one.
I'm sorry, but why is she here again?
Right then. Back to the reliquary it is.
Any idea how you want to do this, Grace? Because I'm game to help.
Cool. I'm sure we can figure something out.
I can't go into the reliquary with you. Not without tipping off Hecate. But I won't be far. If I get the slightest sense that something has gone wrong, I am coming in. Still, promise me you won't take risks.
I'll try.
Ugh, can we just get on with this already?
Если быть честным с Катой, это лучше всего. Прократься не получится, открыто тоже. Открыто что же?
Ah, so that is now.
Oh, you were expecting us?
It is written that you would come, yes.
That is so cool. I kid you not.
Yet it was also written that you would sneak into the reliquary as Calliope did, so this encounter is unanticipated.
You must know why we're here, though.
Yes, although why you refused to ask Athena for permission, I cannot fathom.
Because she would refuse, probably.
Without question. So how can my answer be any different than before?
Asterion said you don't know why Calliope was here, or what she did.
That is correct.
Don't you want to? Aren't you the least bit curious?
You could say it's your duty to find out, at least so it doesn't happen again, right?
That is an argument not entirely without merit.
Then let me try. I'll accept whatever conditions you want, Hecate. I'm begging you.
You will regret this. That is also written.
That is a yes.
Go quickly. Look, but do not touch. The reliquary stores many artifacts, some dangerous.
Got it.
Интересно.
Okay, Grace. What the heck do you do now? Of all the times to not have Freddie around. She'd love this. First things first, how do I do this? Where do I even start? Calliope must have been here. She could have stood in this very spot. Maybe if I just... focus. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I've definitely been here before.
Конечно, тут мне известно, что лучше нажать, но лучше все посмотреть.
I don't get any feeling from that. Will I know it when I see it? Is that a weapon? A musical instrument? Maybe it's both. Shouldn't that be in a museum somewhere?
Свиток. Знаете,
I don't even know what language that is.
это переводы такие, переводы.
They should really charge for tours. It's kind of amazing. Freddie, are you out there? Can you hear me? What am I doing? All that'll do is tell everyone where I am. What did Freddie say about mazes? Was it always go left? Or go left and then go right? Is this an armory, too?
Самое важное, нажимаем или находим улику.
This is it. Calliope was here. She was standing right here. And she... Uh-oh. I don't suppose there's any chance you'll put those knives away.
Троица стража явилась.
Okay, then. What's happening? Why didn't it work?
Oh! Grace?
Freddie! We've got to run! My powers don't work on them, they just keep coming!
И зря.
No, I won't let you.
Минус подруга.
Freddy!
Это печально.
Oh god. Oh god, Freddy!
Oh no. Oh, Grace.
You summoned the Furies. What? Those beings were the Furies, beyond all our laws. Not idols, but the embodiment of retribution. How did you draw them here?
I didn't. There was a big mirror, but I didn't even touch it.
There is only one mirror of which you could be speaking. That used by the goddess Nyx to contact the Fates. Using the mirror would not have brought the Furies down upon you. Not unless the Fates themselves decreed it.
I don't care what brought them. They killed Freddy. You need to help her.
I have no power over life and death, Grace. None of us have that. This was no defense or spell of the reliquaries. I do not have the power to summon the Furies, and I know none who do. You should consider yourself fortunate, Grace. They do not desist until retribution has been exacted. But now is when you leave. Pray the knowledge you obtained was worth the price.
Apollo, there has to be something we can do.
Grace, I'm so sorry.
No, it's not right.
We have to leave. We have to leave now.
Осталось 2 дня. Ну, акт 3 очень короткий. По факту.
Grace, I'm sorry. I know what Freddy meant to you.
It should have been me, not her. This was my fight, my problem. I'm already slated to die, if anyone paid the price.
And repeat history? Would you rather have died there, passing your eidolon onto Freddy instead? Freddy gave you a chance. Grace, is that what happened to Calliope? Was she attacked by the Furies as you were?
Yeah. She meant to use the mirror, but she never had the chance before they came.
The Furies. Sent by the same person, I imagine.
Я догадываюсь, кто мог отослать этих фурий.
Who could send the Furies after me? Even Hecate had no idea who possessed that kind of power.
Even in our prime, none of the idols had the Furies at our beck and call. Perhaps Zeus, but he's long gone. I honestly didn't know the Furies still existed.
Clearly someone can do it.
I mean, unless they weren't sent, unless they were responding to something else, something you'd done unwittingly. I'm sorry, I'm afraid your guess is as good as mine.
What are the Furies? They didn't seem like people.
They're not. Hecate called them embodiments of retribution, and I suppose that's the best description. They go back to well, the time before my memory. I was once told they were created to enforce the most ancient laws.
They're ancient laws now?
Decrees one couldn't break, written in blood. Laws even idols abided by in the days of old Olympus. But those surely died with Zeus. Even if they hadn't, you can't have broken any. They're not easy to overlook.
If the Furies are so powerful, why did they stop? They just stabbed Freddy and left.
They're not assassins, Grace. They're enforcers of the old laws. I imagine they decided the debt was paid, whatever it was, when blood was spilled. The blood didn't have to be yours.
So if Freddy hadn't interfered...
Then they would have come after you. And they wouldn't have stopped until they were through. Not ever.
I know Calliope was there to use the mirror, but it was just a feeling. I still don't understand why.
Well, apparently she wanted to speak to the fates.
Yeah, okay, but why?
The fates are primordial beings, like the Furies. They're said to control destiny. Perhaps Calliope wished to know her destiny. Or change it. I'm not sure.
Can these fates really control the future?
They're tied into fate, as I am. Perhaps they're even where my power stems from, or how Hecate's books are written.
So someone really didn't want Calliope messing with them.
Or you, apparently.
Could it have been the fates? Maybe they don't like being called on now for anything.
I doubt it. If they didn't want to answer the mirror, I'm certain they simply wouldn't.
I don't know what to do. We still have no idea why Calliope wanted to talk to the fates.
Why not ask them? You too have caused quite the stir. Hecate is beside herself, and Athena is out of her mind. Well done.
How long have you been listening?
Long enough to know that you need another way to speak to the fates, unless you're planning on trying the reliquary again.
No, not a chance. We'll find the truth on our own, Persephone.
If you sent Grace to wander about looking for Calliope's memories, you're already out of options.
Wait, what's this about some other way? What are you talking about, Persephone?
May I explain it to Grace, or do you have another option, Apollo? If so, now's the time. I thought not. The fates will respond to the ruler of Hades, the true underworld and realm of the dead. What I propose is that we go there and take back the throne that was stripped from me.
How do we get to Hades? Do we need a key, like the reliquary?
Athena took my key, and the entrance at Lake Avernus was sealed long ago, which leaves only Hermes.
They won't take you.
They might, if you ask them to. So your promise to help Grace was an empty one? Step up, for once, and do what she needs you to do. Get us there. I'll lead us to the throne, and Grace can speak with the fates. It's simple.
Is that something we can do? Just go to the land of the dead and, overthrow it?
Truth be told, there isn't much to overthrow. Few mortals still believe in Hades, and thus its halls have been nearly empty for eons.
So how do you...
The throne itself is the key, both symbolically and literally. Claim it, and Hades is yours.
But you can't claim it because you're barred from Hades.
By a rule that we would need to break were we to do this, yes.
So if we go to Hades and, find your throne, how much trouble would that get us into, exactly?
A great deal.
It's not as if Athena could execute Grace a second time.
But she's already been warned about breaking more rules.
The responsibility of this will be mine. Let Athena try to take my throne again.
Okay. No need to keep selling me on it. I'm in.
You are?
Yeah. I need to punch something really hard. Or overthrow hell. I'm good with either of those things.
Did you see that, Apollo? You see, that is what a backbone looks like.
I can't. I'm sorry, but this is a step too far.
And consider this, Apollo. Grace's mortal friend was slain by the Furies, according to the old laws.
Her soul is in Hades.
Так, уточню.
Wait, what? You said Hades was empty.
Your friend may, in fact, be the first new soul to enter its halls in many years.
And thus could leave it. Fine. I'll get you into Hades. But I'm not going with you.
If that's what you prefer, by all means.
It's fine, Hermes. Get this over with.
Shall I wait here, or...?
No. I'm not gonna lie to them. Hermes has always treated me fairly.
Oh, hey, if it isn't Apollo and Grace, and, Persephone. Wow, the whole gang, huh?
I'm afraid I have to call in that favor. I need you to take Grace and Persephone to Hades.
Oh, man, I don't know. Athena specifically said I wasn't supposed to take anyone, you know? No matter what.
Oh, this is pointless. They're never gonna help us, Apollo.
Can I ask what's going on? Nobody ever tells me anything, and you want me to get in huge trouble, but for what?
Come on, Hermes. How much trouble would you be in, really? What's Athena gonna do? Leave Olympus? Get her own dry cleaning? She needs you more than you need her.
Yeah, but Athena works so hard, and it's always for everyone else.
Sounds like someone else I know. Isn't there anything that you want, Hermes?
Oh. What I want is the truth.
That's what I want too. The truth. You don't believe I killed Calliope, right?
No, I don't.
Then help me. Trust me. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. Signal when you need to come back.
You sure?
Yeah, feels like the right thing.
Be careful, Grace. And remember, the underworld doesn't give up its shades without a price.
I think I can tell her the rules, Apollo. Let's go.
Мертвые должны оставаться с мертвыми, живые живыми. Сейчас мощнейшая, хорошая музыка пойдет.
Welcome to the real underworld.
Wow. It feels so empty. So lonely.
It's not completely empty. Neither is the throne, for that matter. A bitter shade named Orpheus has been squatting on it since my exile. I fully expect he'll be waiting for us.
So there's gonna be a fight? Good. I need something to punch.
Don't get too excited, Grace. Orpheus is hardly a worthy foe.
Really? Even though he took your throne?
He took an empty throne after I left. That does not make him a king. Just someone else that's in my way.
In our way, you mean?
Yes, in our way.
Who is this Orpheus. The name sounds familiar.
It should. His is a popular tale among mortals regarding how he once came to the underworld to retrieve his love, Eurydice, and left with nothing. Hades tricked him, you see. And with Hades dead, the blame has evidently fallen to me.
So he's not a fan of yours?
He is not a fan, no. Not that it matters.
You didn't think to mention earlier that the throne was occupied?
Because it's irrelevant. Orpheus isn't an idol. He's just an angry little man clinging to an existence that doesn't want him any longer.
And what are we supposed to do? Organize an armed resistance? Challenge him to a duel?
That's what you're here for.
I'm gonna fight him?
Oh, you'll see.
Okay, so there's an angry ghost sitting on your throne. Anything else about this trip you've neglected to mention?
Come. It's time to cross the Styx. The ferryman will come soon. As we are not dead, you will need to convince him you are worthy of passage. State your case clearly and with determination.
Вот и Харон.
I am Persephone, also known as Despoina and Kore Sotiera, once queen of the underworld, and shall be again. No, Corone, I did not bring you any cards. I am not here to entertain you.
Hey there! I'm Grace, idol and last of the Muses. Is that enough?
Of course she's a muse. Why would she lie about such a thing? He says he's always liked the Muses, and that you're very pretty. No, she didn't. Neither of us brought games to play with you, Corone. Stop asking.
Oh, I'm sure we can come up with something to amuse him. See? You don't even need to interpret that for me.
Yes, what fun. Thank you for encouraging him. Let's get underway, Corone. It's a long ride to the throne room.
I wouldn't touch that. Way too much for you. Overload you. Blow a fuse. Every story, every memory winds up here in the water. I used to dream that this river would rise, swallow the anger, tears in my eyes. Then suddenly I was found alone. I destroyed Hades, but when
was denied his throne.
Really is dead here, isn't it?
Everything here is fading away. She needs her queen.
We're here for Freddy, too.
I killed the king fair and square. They had no right to take it from me.
It wasn't your fault. There was no right or wrong. It wasn't your fault. You didn't belong. If my life was stolen, I wouldn't know where to turn. Candle isn't finished. It's a slow burn.
Someone's coming. There's music floating through. Someone's coming. And it has me singing too. We have visitors. I think we all know what to do. To the throne room. This bard's about to meet a muse.
There's someone singing with us.
That would be Orpheus.
Is he a muse?
Oh, he's so much more than that.
Someone's
We
coming.
might have a problem.
A wolf is waiting in the
This
tomb.
bard's already
Someone's
dead,
coming.
but you can defeat him.
I can feel them howling at the moon.
My help.
Don't forget why we came here.
There's a name here
I won't forget,
that reeks
but you
of
can bet he
enemy.
knows someone's coming.
It's about time, Persephone.
Orpheus, I've been. What happened to the music?
I have been waiting for you, Persephone, for so long. And you brought a muse. Hi. Lovely tune, by the way. Can't remember the last time I collaborated with someone so talented. No offense, Benny.
Hey.
Welcome to my underworld. Let me treat you to a song, a welcome gift. I have the floor. It is mine, after all. Muse, any requests? Questions?
Are you really that good?
Do, down, out, loop it. I wouldn't say that I'm good. I wouldn't say that I'm great. I wouldn't say that my timing's perfect. I wouldn't say that I'm late. But you can say that he's the best that's ever been. The best you've ever seen. The best you've ever heard. And I haven't even really sung a single word.
I think I chose poorly.
Okay, just getting a gauge. Not your thing? Try again. Another request?
My friend is dead. Can you help me?
Loop. The river keeps secrets deep in the water. How far do you sink till you're buried below? I challenged the fates and found my Eurydice, but you had to kill her, and I won't let it go. You're asking the wrong person.
It wasn't your fault. How are you to react? It wasn't your fault. Now there's no turning back. If my love was taken, I wouldn't know where to turn. Your candle isn't finished. It's a slow burn.
This tete-a-tete is over. If he's the victim, what am I?
Queen, let's not lose our composure. The muse understands.
Well, I won't comply. I'd rather die.
Corpses in crowns, tangled and trapped. Eyes full of cobwebs, only looking back. Don't you see what I see? Looks all dead to me, above the
same?
I like what you're doing, Muse, but I thought you'd be on my side.
Bard is to blame for the hell that he's been in.
Persephone, you're the reason I'm here. I'm not here to give in.
Oh, you think I will?
Can I get this through both of your heads? You're fighting over something that's dead. I mean, you should have seen this coming.
There's no point in reasoning with him, Grace.
Oh, I believe she was speaking to us both.
I certainly wish I'd seen you coming.
It isn't your fault. Hades broke you both down. It isn't your fault. This is a little ghost town. But you're forgetting Freddie. I just want her return.
Candle isn't finished. It's a slow burn.
It's a slow burn.
It's a slow burn.
You both exist somewhere on the border between real and imagined, the living, the dead. So how can this place be everything you dreamed of? You both deserve more. You must let it go. You both deserve more than this stupid throne.
We have been fools.
You're right. Yet, what about the throne? We can't just leave it empty, can we?
Of course not. This hell is mine.
You dare. All this talk of being trapped by the past, and it was just a smokescreen so you could take the throne? You?
Интересно. По этому пути я никогда не шел. Даже интересно.
I'm not the one trapped in the past, Persephone. You are. You're obsessed.
I paid for that throne in blood, ground under my husband's heel for centuries. You have no claim. None.
I'm taking the throne because I can, just as you did. I don't see the problem.
You think that taking the throne will help you? Go on then. Please, show me your power, oh great queen of Hades.
Get over it, Persephone. You would have done exactly the same in my position. Admit it.
I wouldn't have brought you here if I suspected even for a moment that you might be so conniving. This is what I came here to do. No other reason. None.
Not even to contact the Fates? Or bring back Freddie?
I'll let you in on a little secret, Grace. There is no contacting the Fates. There never was.
And Freddie?
If the throne alone could bring someone back from the dead, surely even Orpheus would have figured it out.
That's it then. We came here for nothing.
I doubt the Fates would have responded even to the mirror, Grace. And the boundaries of death cannot be commanded away. Not even by the ruler of Hades.
Then what is this throne good for? Just a fancy chair? Bragging rights?
At the very least, I had hoped we might find your friend's spirit.
Why? We can't bring her back.
Not without great sacrifice, no. No, the rules of death are clear. Yet, you might have spoken to her. I know what it's like not to get the chance to say goodbye.
Freddie, you're here.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually been watching you since you arrived. It's not like there's much else going on.
Fred,
No, don't even start, Grace. I made my decision. I don't regret it one bit.
But you sacrificed yourself. For me.
Well, yeah. I'd do anything for you, Grace. Hey, what was the alternative? I let the Furies kill you instead? That's not how this story ends.
This isn't a story, Fred.
You're wrong. It is a story. And you need to finish it. Without me. Hey, no.
I guess this is it, huh?
Almost. I found someone while I was down here. Someone you really need to meet.
This... You can't be real. Your soul is inside Grace. Idols don't...
Is inside Grace. The rest of me... I'm here, Persephone.
This is real.
I guess you two were better acquainted than you said. Huh, Persephone?
We parted ways years ago. Persephone couldn't take my lectures any longer.
I'd take them now. I miss them.
No, you don't. Think about how bitterly we argued at the end. Don't blame yourself. Not when there are so many fond memories to cherish instead.
I don't get it. I thought the Eidolon was Calliope's soul. But if that's true, then...
The Eidolon is what makes us an idol, but it's not our soul. Each of us adds a piece to it as it passes on.
But what about the memories?
The memories are but a reflection. And after the Eidolon is passed on, old memories become a reflection of a reflection. That's why the idols have forgotten so much. You knew this truth once, Persephone. Long ago.
We need to know what happened to you, Calliope. How did you die?
Why didn't you come to me? If you were in trouble, I would have protected you.
I know you would have. But I couldn't let you be drawn into Apollo's prophecy as well.
Apollo's prophecy?
He didn't tell you? No. I don't suppose he could have. It's a long story.
Что выбрать? Ну, ладно.
Start with Apollo. How is he involved in all this?
Apollo delivered, with great reluctance, a prophecy that said I needed to die.
And who did he deliver this prophecy to?
Athena.
No.
Then she sent the Furies after me when I went to the reliquary. I barely escaped. I fled back to the mortal world. To you.
Why come to me? Of all the places you could have run to, why come to my apartment?
Because I was dying.
But I couldn't save you. I barely even knew you.
I was wandering the streets that night, wondering if I should go to the reliquary or just flee. And I heard you singing. I followed you home after to see where you lived. I didn't know what would happen to me, but I thought, just in case, I knew I had to hold out until I reached you.
I don't blame you, in case you're wondering.
You don't?
You didn't ask for all this to happen. You did the best you could, Calliope.
Thank you for saying that, Grace. Truly.
Apollo hates using his power. Why would he have given a prophecy to Athena?
Because she demanded it. She was desperate.
How did you even find out?
Apollo was horrified after he delivered the prophecy, and he refused to stay silent. And he came to warn me. He was torn. Telling me meant I was locked into it. I still think he did the right thing. Though I expect he disagrees.
What was the prophecy? Surely I need to hear it.
If I tell you, you'll be locked into it, just like me.
But the prophecy doesn't just say you have to die. There's more to it, right? They always require interpretation.
Apollo told Athena that. He begged her not to jump to conclusions, but maybe she was right.
It doesn't just involve you, does it? It involves me. It must, or you wouldn't hesitate.
Athena wanted to know if there was a way to save the idols. The answer was this. The idols cannot continue so long as the last muse lives.
And I'm the last muse.
And now you know the prophecy.
Why did you go to the reliquary? We know about the mirror, but...
You wanted to annul the prophecy.
And the Fates are the only ones who could, if they would even help me. I doubted it, but I was desperate. I never got the chance to ask. Someone told Athena where I was going, and she must have realized what I meant to do.
But how did she get the Furies to attack you? They aren't pets. You didn't break any of the old laws.
I don't know. Maybe it's something the ruler of the idols can do. But you'd have to ask Athena.
You went to Pan for the key to the reliquary, right?
Yes. He's the reason I knew about Nyx's mirror, actually. He told me about it long ago.
He told Medusa where you went. She, I expect, told Athena.
Oh. Pan couldn't have known what it would mean. I didn't explain.
That's it. You forgive him, just like that.
I'm sure he feels guilty enough, my love.
Athena's gonna pay for this. She will pay.
She wanted to save the idols. And I wanted that too.
You weren't about to kill anyone to get it. I have to go back. And I have no idea what will happen. None of this seems real.
So many years of history, the fights, the highs, the miseries. I'm so proud of you, but it's time to go. I never truly saw before how trapped we were, so far from shore. Great at the time, but it's time to go. It's time to and so was I was not prepared to die, but Grace, I choose this, and I know you'll die. It's time. So many years of history, the fights, the highs, the miseries. I'm so proud, Grace.
Freddie, I gave everything to watch you go. I know.
Now it's time to go.
It's time to go.
You've returned. And I see Freddie isn't with you. I'm so sorry, Grace. Did you at least get to speak to the Fates?
No.
Then what happened?
Then we found Calliope.
Calliope, but her eidolon is inside you. How
It doesn't work like that. The eidolon is only a part of an idol. The rest just...
Calliope told us what happened. The prophecy, how you warned her, how you've been lying to us. You knew. You knew the truth this entire time, even when you said you were helping Grace.
Yes. Yes, I did.
You were trying to protect me, right? You didn't want me to share Calliope's fate?
I thought I could nudge you in the right direction. Help you find the truth without learning about the prophecy.
Well, you failed. We know it now.
Then it's done. You're locked into it.
Isn't the prophecy open to interpretation? Couldn't you be wrong about how it ends?
When am I not wrong, Grace?
That's right. Leave. It's what you're best at. I don't know how this will affect your trial. We could tell them what we've learned. Even without proof, it makes enough sense that Athena couldn't just brush it off. But if she believes you need to die in order to save the idols, if she truly believes that, it won't matter what anyone says.
Then I'll just have to stop her, won't I?
You want to challenge the leader of the chorus in front of everyone.
She isn't giving me much of a choice.
Well, I dare say she has more of a fight in store for her than she would ever expect.
Is that a vote of confidence?
When you go to the trial, I'll back your play, up to and including overthrowing Athena. Calliope would approve.
But what about...
Just so you understand, our chances aren't good. I suggest you do whatever necessary to prepare.
Great.
Да уж. Ну, пойдем к пану, а потом к Аполлону. Я тут к тому идти. Пойдем к Аполлону. Потом пан и Персефона.
Oh, it's you. Paul comes in, mopier than his usual mopey self, and won't say a word about why. But of course, it's you.
Look, I know you care about Apollo. I'm not here to hurt him.
Uh-huh, yeah. And, why should I believe you?
Because I care about him too.
I guess I can go ask him if he wants to talk to you. Don't be surprised if he says no, though.
It's all right, Oracle. I think Grace and I need a moment alone, if you please.
Oh, sure. Don't mind me. It's not like I was in the middle of anything.
I didn't mean for it to end up this way.
So you've said. I'm more worried about you, actually.
Worried about me? After all you've been through?
I lost Freddie. I can't lose anyone else.
When I first became Apollo, I was so sure I could help people. Help the world. I ignored the warnings. You have no idea how many lives I ruined before I stopped. I never should have given in to Athena. This one time, I thought that maybe it will be different.
I haven't given up. Prophecy or no prophecy. Neither should you.
You're right. You're right. I know you're right. I hope this doesn't change things between us. You've come to mean a great deal to me.
This isn't gonna work if you keep doubting yourself.
I guess all that remains is the trial. Whatever happens, Grace, I'll be standing right there by you.
You'd better.
Лучше бы. Ладно, пойдем заручаться поддержкой. До суда это нужно.
Pan? Are you here? Pan! All right then. Guess I'll just head off.
I thought you didn't want to see me anymore. You're not here to yell at me, are you?
Is that a problem? Is the mighty Pan too sensitive to withstand a little yelling?
It's less the mighty Pan and more the naughty Pan. Perhaps even the delightful Pan.
Bah! That's right! Bah!
Игра или микрофон?
Ah, you've learned something. Something not altogether pleasant, I'm guessing. Tell you what, Grace. Let's indulge in one last transaction. Relay what you've learned, and I'll see if I have any advice to offer.
Погромче.
Okay, where do I begin?
Меня.
Well, of course it was Athena.
Wait, you knew?
No, how could I?
So what now?
Let the prophecy play out.
Huh?
Let it play out. It doesn't say the last muse will die. Just that she must for the idols to continue. Perhaps the idols shouldn't continue. Seems reasonable enough.
Громкость. Попробую на 1 децибел. Даже на 2 прибавить. Ну, думаю, больше не стоит, иначе буду перекрикивать игру. Добрый, Алекс. Добрый, друг.
Oh, so just let the idols die off. You'd be okay with that?
Did the prophecy say precisely that? Prophecies can be such tricksy little bastards. Frankly, change is long overdue. Continuing on as we have been isn't appealing, and I doubt I'm the only one who thinks so. I'm rather looking forward to the trial now. How exciting.
И Персефоне идем тоже за поддержкой. И потом финальная битва и конец игры.
Did you forget something, Grace?
It felt like we hadn't quite finished our conversation.
It seemed pretty finished to me. What more is there to discuss?
Why didn't you tell me about you and Calliope?
What, tell you I loved her so you and Apollo could pick apart our relationship and then cast me as the murderer? Tell you I spent 2 years hoping she would return, only to find out that that was never gonna happen? Tell all of that to the one she was now a part of, who would one day remember everything we were? Calliope would not have approved of the way I acted. But then she seldom did. It was so good to see her in Hades. To have her say she forgives me. I just wish it were as easy to forgive myself.
You could apologize, you know. We could start over, from square one.
You take my throne and I'm the one who apologizes?
I could go first, if you like. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too, believe it or not. Is that better?
It's a start.
Is it any easier out there? Do you miss being immortal, Grace?
Miss a life of drudgery? Sure to end in death? Hell no. Even with the trial, this is still better.
Then you made the right decision in Hades.
I don't know. I guess so.
I imagine the choice will haunt you, won't it?
Ну что, Final Battle, ребятки. Или, не, еще рано до него, ну, близко к нему.
So this is it. All your new friends have lied to you, but somehow they're gonna get you through the trial, right? I wish Freddy were here.
Like a boat lost at sea, with no sails, not a breeze. I am drifting cold waters, no star to be seen. I'll embrace the fire as it burns deep inside, bright enough to guide me, an ocean defied. But as I burn, they've all turned away one by one. In the end, am I alone?
Okay, here we go. Hello?
Oh, Grace, there you are. Everyone is already waiting for you on Olympus.
I thought this was Olympus.
Not this office building. My word, no. Welcome to Old Olympus, dear.
Is this a real place?
It's the memory of a real place, which for us is the same thing. Let's begin, shall we? Brothers, sisters, everyone, look around you. We few who remain fled to this new land to escape the war, but we are not out of danger. I waited to tell you until I was certain, and now I am. The idols are dying. It will not be long before even our immortality deserts us. The time for extreme measures has arrived.
Да, крайний мир это заколоть кого-то либо. Ну не, ну нафиг, как говорится в одном известном меме.
Extreme measures, such as murder. Would you sacrifice idols to save them, Athena? Seems counterproductive, doesn't it?
It is not unknown for a physician to cut off a limb in order to save the patient.
Oh, that's what you are? The heroic doctor, out to heal the poor, sick idols?
I am trying to save us! I will do anything and everything in my power and beyond to save us from extinction.
You'll do anything? It must be difficult. Feeling as if everything is on your shoulders, and yours alone. One moment of weakness and it all falls apart. You've been doing this for so long, you don't even know how to stop, do you?
Oh, dear child, why on earth would I stop?
Because what you've done is wrong. If it wasn't, then why not come clean? Go on, tell them about Apollo's prophecy. The idols cannot continue so long as the last muse lives. Isn't that how it goes?
It's true.
This is your chance to end it, Athena. Your last chance. I know you want to save the idols, but there has to be some part of you that understands you've gone too far.
Nothing is too far!
No? Not even murdering Calliope? She didn't deserve your protection? I don't? Tell them.
Yes, it's me. It's me. Of course, it's me, the one who gets it done. Don't you see? It had to be. You all turn away when I got the fish. Then you cry hooray once it's on the dish. That's how we do this. Yes, we. Yes, you and me. I have always cared for you. I'll always do all these things for you. All these things that you are not prepared to do. You say you care, Athena, look around. The way you care grinds these idols down. From up above, you played your puppet show. You called it love. Athena, did you know you're turning them to gold? Sorry, little bird, time to wring your neck.
This I know, once the muse is dead, questions creep, they'll burrow in my head. What did I do? What didn't I do? All this time, you've shown us what to sing. Wisdom, that's what you bring. Is that still true?
This coming from you. You're lost, little boy. You've lost all perspective. You're ready to throw this away for this little mite. He's not throwing things away. He's picked up the fight. None of you see. So it's down to me. It's fine. I'll take all the blame. I'll take all the pain. Think you see it all. You just see a scrap. You want to make the call. You need to hold the map. You cloistered children. It's time for you and all who stand with you. Yes, you too. Form a queue. Time to follow through. Hey, y'all, now listen, I'll be crystal clear. I'm saying this to everybody here. No substitutions, no, you're all too dear. We're keeping everybody leaves this place alive.
So romantic, me and you. I wouldn't wanna be cut to pieces with just anybody. I was so low, I nearly withdrew. Now I'm here because she inspired me.
Really, Pan, you?
The way I see it, if you have to take Grace, then you definitely have to take me.
Of course, it's me,
Because of me, this prophecy would come to be. My Olympus is gone, and you're all looking on at a stranger wearing my face. My Olympus is gone. Now I'm some other one. Just how long has she been in place? You set off hoping you could get to somewhere right, but it's been too many years since the mainland was in sight.
There was a voice in me that shouted, Athena, you be strong. Be strong. No cost is great enough. It was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong, and now I don't know what the right thing is. I leave it up to you what to do with this.
I forgive you, Athena.
Look into me. I know what I see. Yes, a monster. I've met monsters who weren't monsters. I'm a monster to me. I'm sorry, Grace. I'm sorry, all of you. I wish Calliope could know it too. She does. She hears you.
Хороший финал. Ну, сейчас эпилог. Я буду скоро.
Are you finished? You've been talking forever.
We're done, yes.
And?
You certain about that chair, brother? You've always said you didn't want it.
I think it's about time, don't you?
Responsibility suits you, Apollo. Maybe one day you'll even button up your shirt.
Well, fortunately I won't be in the position long enough to find out. We've decided to disband the chorus. No more laws, no more hiding from mortals. It's time the idols found a new way.
You're planning to tell everyone what we really are? Isn't that risky?
We'll give it some time to let those who are afraid go into hiding, but it needs to happen. We have to rejoin the world.
What about Athena? She can't be okay with this.
She won't fight it. She said, and I quote, "Whatever your decision, I will abide by it."
That's a switch.
The fight's just not in her anymore. She was so certain she was doing the right thing.
It must be tearing her apart now that she's failed.
Well, we'll see how long this new Athena lasts.
You all agreed to this? No argument?
Oh, we don't do anything without argument, dearest.
It's what Calliope fought for. It seems appropriate. I only wish you were here to see it.
Calliope would definitely approve.
Yes, well, it'll be up to us to pick up the pieces if this all falls apart.
We have to try. What other choice do we have?
It's hard to picture the idols living without rules. Medusa comes to mind, for instance. Think she'll be okay with mortal laws?
Medusa has offered to live in the reliquary. Frankly, I think she's relieved. As for the others, I suppose they'll have to answer to mortal authorities now.
These authorities. Do you think we could ask them about Hephaestus?
I don't see why not.
This is a huge step. Can't believe it's happening.
Changes everywhere. Would you believe Apollo and I finally buried the hatchet?
Even immortals need to grow up sometime.
And give heartfelt apologies.
Which I should have offered long, long ago. Could you all give Grace and I a moment, please? Well, you did it. You survived.
We did it. I would have been lost if you hadn't stood beside me.
I was just trying to do the right thing.
And now you're leading the idols. I'm proud of you.
And you. You stood your ground with Athena and won. A feat even the mightiest idols have never accomplished.
Wasn't like I had much choice, right?
I want you to know that I'm not going anywhere. Whatever happens when we reveal ourselves, whatever comes, I go where you go.
I could get used to that.
I wouldn't be crimping your style? Is that how you say it?
If you're 75, sure. Maybe let's get your vocabulary into this century at some point.
I was hoping you'd say that. What do you say, Grace? Ready to face the music one more time?
Always.
Эпилог, дамы и господа.
Of course you're both here. In my apartment. Why wouldn't you be?
We were waiting for you.
I'm told the concert went well. How do you feel?
I'm exhausted.
Somehow the Oracle has managed to get a recording of every show you've done. I believe she's a bit starstruck.
You can tell her it's okay to come in person. She's on the list.
That would require her to get out from behind her screens.
Everyone here has also been busy. Would you like to hear the latest?
Is there any word yet on Aphrodite and Eros? They left the city a while ago.
Eros sent word, yes. Aphrodite has started a spiritual retreat in the mountains?
Let's call it a cult.
Whatever it is, he says it's been helping her. Being the goddess of love to the world once more has at last brought her peace.
I thought for sure they'd go into hiding. Aphrodite fears mortals more than any other idol, doesn't she?
Hence why she surrounded herself with only those who shower her with adoration.
As I recall, sister, you also headed several cults across the centuries.
The Eleusinian mysteries weren't about shoring up my ego, Apollo.
What about Venus? Did she go with them?
The mortal? I don't believe so. Last I heard, she opened a gallery. Aphrodite's become her patron.
Venus has painted most of the idols. I sat for her last week, in fact. It's made her rather successful.
Добрый ретро-таун. Да, на прошлой неделе проходил. Была первая часть, это уже финал. Вот в данном случае это эпилог сейчас. Надеюсь, меня хорошо слышно с микрофоном другим.
Has anyone heard about Athena? It's been a while.
I have. She left the city, as she felt uncomfortable with all the attention on the idols.
Terrified, you mean?
It was more that mortals expected the goddess of wisdom to have sage advice, and she no longer trusts her judgment.
No surprise there.
You don't still worry about her, brother, after all she's done?
I think of her off in the far north, living alone in the wilderness, punishing herself until the end of her days. I know it's her own choosing, but it seems like such a waste.
Is Hermes still around? I'm surprised they're not here with the rest of you.
We've barely seen them of late.
Hermes has been busy. They've become a social media darling, or so the Oracle tells me.
The truly amusing part is that they're not even trying to be famous. They simply can't help it.
Hermes likes to people please, it's true.
Hopefully it won't backfire on them. Fame is a double-edged sword.
Hermes lives a charmed life, never fear.
Well, it's odd seeing their face on so many billboards, but I agree. Let Hermes have their fun.
What about Pan? I haven't seen him since the trial.
No one's seen him.
Should we be worried? It is Pan, and what he does will reflect on us all.
Pan is harmless.
Mostly harmless.
As far as I can tell, he did regret his involvement in Calliope's death. He'll lay low. At least for a time.
He'll be back with some new scheme to make us all groan.
You're not wrong.
What about Hecate and Asterion? Are they still at the reliquary?
Hecate leave the reliquary? I'd sooner believe the sun would go out.
It doesn't hurt that they seem enraptured with each other's company.
Asterion is all Hecate is willing to discuss. Do I need to know every detail of his sexual prowess? I do not.
Didn't Hecate say it is written that she and the Minotaur would eventually break up?
Well, eventually, for Hecate could be centuries from now.
In the meantime, she gushes about her new boyfriend like a schoolgirl.
You should hear Asterion, then. His gushing puts hers to shame. I'm happy for them both.
And Medusa? I take it she's no longer at the reliquary.
She was. For a few months.
There was an incident involving Hecate's new cat.
Oh no!
Medusa was beside herself with apologies, but needless to say, she moved on rather quickly. We're not certain where.
Meaning what? Medusa is roaming the streets? Doing whatever she likes?
Not quite.
Medusa believed she might not be able to control her, appetite, so she asked us to put her in contact with the mortal government. They took her somewhere. It was her decision. The government is grateful. They even suggested we might see Hephaestus again.
Aphrodite's husband? He's alive?
So it appears. Who knows what he's been doing for the mortals since the war, but it would raise all our spirits to see him again.
I'd like to know what you've been up to, Apollo.
Other than whining like a sad puppy every moment that you've been away?
I haven't been... Well, all right. Maybe just a little. But mostly I've been taking charge of the idols remaining at Olympus, helping them ease into life with the mortals.
Every day he parades about the city with idols in tow like frightened ducklings, showing them how the world works.
But Apollo barely knows how the world works.
Well, that's what makes it funny. It's the blind leading the blind.
I've also been tidying up the beach house, finding the Oracle, a new place to live.
A new place to live? Why?
So he can invite you to live in his little beachside hovel, that's why.
I was going to say that myself. Later, when you were finished and back for good.
really like that idea. Assuming you've hosed the entire place down a few times.
I'm in charge of the renovations. I'd have preferred to burn the entire place down and start over, but...
It's quite livable now that Persephone's had her way with it. We can talk about this more later.
How about you, Persephone? Any big changes?
Not yet, though I may be selling the club very soon.
The underworld? Why?
I don't need a substitute for the real thing. That's all it ever was, and I'm fine with having neither. That said, I've been itching for a change. I believe it's time to move on to something else.
Do we get to know what that something else is?
No, you don't. I came by to offer the Queen of Hades my regards. You likely won't see me for quite some time.
You will be missed, sister. More than you'll ever believe.
I still can't believe it's all over.
Oh, it's scarcely over, Grace. Now that you've toppled the castle, it's barely just begun.
Oh, I didn't do that.
On the contrary, you absolutely did.
Perhaps we should leave you alone, Grace. You must be tired from your trip.
Perhaps a round of drinks at the underworld, in Calliope's honor.
I'd like that, actually.
Persephone, could we just meet you there?
Fine. I will, however, begin drinking without you.
Something on your mind, Apollo?
You, Grace. It's always you.
Take my hand for a minute. Let's stop and breathe for a moment. There's so much to like. Now I've opened my eyes, finally stepped into the light. Wouldn't you know it was here the whole time? The courage we need to be joyful is something we'll build over time. I now know it's true, the answer is you, and I will be here for the ride. Yes, I will be here for the ride.
How will you feel years from now? Everything's changing so fast.
We have eternity to work it out. With you, I think it will last. The courage we need to be joyful, something you've helped me find. No matter where we go, we'll take it slow, and I'll hold your hand all the while. The courage we need to be joyful is something we'll build over time. No matter what we do, the answer is you. And I will be here for the ride. Yes, I will be here for the ride.
Всем спасибо, ребят, кто был на стриме. Всех с прошедшими праздниками, с прошедшим Рождеством. Хорошей вам рабочей недели и благодарю всех, кто был на стриме. Встретимся на новых эфирах с новыми играми. До новых встреч. Пока-пока.